Hey, good evening, or good morning, or good afternoon, whatever one you are using right now. Thank you for joining us. This is Peter from the Neighborhood Watch, and joining me is Dr. K over there.
Hello.
And our special guest, Mr. Corleone.
Hey, thanks for having me back on, guys. So soon.
Don Vito, yes.
We are very excited to talk about a movie that we just finished watching scant minutes ago.
That's right.
Toby Hooper's classic
1985's Lifeforce.
Yeah.
So good. So good.
Vampires from space
Boom.
who are mostly naked.
Yeah.
And it's good. It's great.
It is. It's got a few problems.
It does.
There's a few things that we'll get into.
Rough around the
Yes.
edges
Yeah.
for sure.
Yes.
That's kind of why I love it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. But it's a good time.
It's great. It's great.
It's one of those movies where I think for all of us, we were kind of like, why didn't we see this back in the 80s?
Yeah,
you know?
right.
It slipped under the radar for a lot of people.
Yeah, man. So true.
I was actually just talking about this earlier. I'm curious what else came out that year that overshadowed.
Well, we can
Yeah.
tell you, 85.
Sure,
It's 85, right?
Right.
Yeah,
Reanimator.
Yeah, Back to the Future.
Back to the Future. Right.
That was a huge movie.
Easily. Okay.
Man.
Yep.
What else? Red Sonja.
So
Reds.
back to
Reds.
popular 1985 movies
Yeah.
here
Yes.
that year was Back to the Future.
Yes, of course.
The Breakfast Club.
Oh, yeah.
The
yeah,
Color
yeah,
Purple.
Yeah.
Okay.
The Goonies came out that year.
Oh, the
Yes.
Goonies was 85.
Yeah,
right.
And just off of those, I can see why it
Gosh,
got
dude, we're not even
over.
getting into horror there yet. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Because, I mean,
Yeah.
there had to be at least one Friday the 13th
Yeah.
and
Oh.
probably the second Nightmare on Elm
Nightmare on Elm
Street,
Street,
maybe.
You have Rocky 4, Rambo 2,
Rocky dude. See,
Commando.
Yeah.
I mean, the list
Yeah,
goes
yeah,
on. So,
yeah. It was a huge year, 85.
oh, Mad Max Beyond the Thunderdome.
the West
Yeah.
Thunderdome was that year. I knew that. I knew
That's
that. Pale
right.
Rider,
We
too.
don't need another hero.
So,
Not shit energy.
I can understand why
Yeah.
it just kind of
Yeah.
faded away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and it was I had the stroke too when we're watching the intro that it was obviously it's Golan Globus Canon Films, and so I think that there had to be something that undermined the fact that this didn't get enough press or something else because as my dear Peter was talking about, anybody who's watched the documentary on Canon Films knows that it's what just a crazy shit show that whole operation was. Just total madness, right?
Total madness. Total 80s excess.
Yeah.
Just like,
Pumping the movies out.
yeah. And,
Oh, man.
But
And
also just like, just throw money. Throw money at it.
Yeah. Yep.
You know?
Yep. If you shovel money onto the fire,
Yeah.
you'll get something, right? And yeah, what
Insane.
you get is Masters of the Universe, or whatever.
Yeah.
Name all of the other good
Yeah.
ones.
King Solomon's Mines.
King Solomon's Mines. Oh gosh, dude.
Or the sequel, which I didn't even know they made. Did you know they made a sequel
I
to that?
did. I've seen them both.
Alan Quartermain.
Yes,
in
that's
the
right.
City of Gold.
That's right.
Man.
Dude, you got it.
That blew my
I only
mind.
remembered the Alan Quartermain part, right? Because it has his name. Because to compete against Indiana Jones, you got to put the main character's name in there, even if it's as stupid as Alan Quartermain.
Oh, man.
What? Garbage. Have you seen this, Mr.
I have
Corleone?
not.
Oh, dude.
I have not.
So, that's
You
the
want to
can-
torture
that's-
yourself.
Yeah.
So
I
they're
do,
Indiana
and
Jones
I will.
knockoffs,
Yeah.
and
Okay.
they're big budget. They've
Well,
got
Sharon Stone, one of Sharon Stone's first movies.
Sharon
too.
Stone, James Earl Jones is in it. Yeah, they're garbage.
Oh.
They're pure garbage. Yeah, like how blatant can you be in exactly how you're gonna rip something off?
Yeah.
This is like the ultimate rip off, and not even good like Garbage Pail Kids where it's parody. This is just like pure freaking rip off.
Oh, man. Okay.
We're gonna steal Indiana Jones and not do it as well.
Just do it, yeah,
Yeah.
right. But with huge amounts of money and
Yeah.
not do it as well,
Yeah,
which
yeah,
is
yeah.
the
That's
sad
even
part.
more. Yeah, very
Yeah.
sad.
Yeah, you're just like, oh gosh, dude.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
Life Force, guys.
But
Back
Life
to
Force,
Life
Yes.
we got to stick to Life Force. and
So I gotta
our
say,
vampires, yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for showing me this. This is like
Yes.
one of my all-time favorite gems now.
All right.
I will be talking about this to people. Have you seen Life Force? You should watch it.
So let me ask you this, because I saw it a few years ago, and I didn't have this good reaction as you did. I like it better now. The second time I've seen it, I
great.
like it better now. But
Great,
the first
good.
time I saw it, I was kind of like, eh. So what did you like about it so much?
Right.
Your first time out of the gate.
Oh, I mean, so it has like a lot of 80s cheese.
Oh, totally.
In a great way. I
Totally,
mean, there's
yeah.
definitely some things wrong with it,
Yeah.
but it's kind of like a diamond in the rough, you know.
Yeah.
Right.
Like those horrible things almost kind of make it.
They do.
Good
That's
as well.
what gives it character in
Yeah.
some ways. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mathilda May.
Mhm.
Yeah, Matilda May.
You
yeah.
just
Matilda
like
May, thank
you just liked seeing her naked all the time. That was what really made the movie.
Me
for you.
too.
So
guilty.
you know,
Okay,
she
all right.
actually wasn't as naked as much as I thought.
Yeah.
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 But so one of the things I really wanted to talk to you guys about was she has a history, a background of ballet.
Ah.
And so I wanted to point out to you guys, but I wanted
Yeah.
to talk about it here on the podcast.
Absolutely.
Her movement was so graceful.
Yeah, right.
Just
True.
when she's sitting up or walking down the
Yeah,
stairs,
definitely.
she has
Right.
that like eerie
Slinkiness.
grace to
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
It was
She's-
great.
She has like total command
Yes.
of her,
Yep.
of her
Yes.
body, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. True.
So kind of like what we talked about before, I feel like the main characters they could have done less of,
Yeah.
and I would have liked to
Yeah.
have seen more of what she was doing.
Right.
Right.
And more of her breasts too.
Yes.
They were pretty great too.
Oh, did you know that she actually didn't speak English when this movie was done?
wow.
I bet. I kind
All her
of guessed
lines,
that. I'd
all her
almost
lines
guessed
she had
that.
to
Yeah.
practice, which she
Wow.
didn't
Yeah,
have
yeah,
like a
yeah,
many,
yeah,
but
Yeah.
Exactly. That's what gave it away is that she
Yeah.
had very deliberate lines.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And that's usually a dead ringer of somebody who's
Carlson.
Yeah.
That's what she had to say.
right. Right.
I wonder about the other guy at the end though, if he had to learn his lines too. Remember his line? We all died
Dude,
laughing.
I think what was it?
please, please.
It
Go-
again.
go
Well,
ahead.
I'm trying to remember it now. I can't. Just put me on the spot. I put myself on the spot. He was like, "It'll be less terrifying if you come now."
yes. Oh,
Something like
if
that.
you come to me,
Yeah,
right?
come to me.
Yeah.
yes.
That guy was
Yeah,
awesome.
one of the male vampires, his
Oh.
only line in the movie.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Killed
His
it.
one line.
It's
that
my
was it,
favorite
dude.
line.
Oh, dude.
That was good.
It takes it. It
If
takes
you come
it.
to me now, it'll be less terrible.
Yeah, that's
Yes,
what
it
it was.
was
And then he
so
just stabs him in the
terrifying.
back.
Just out of nowhere.
Yeah. Yep.
So random.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Um,
Yep.
Oh, before I forget, so one of the other things I wanted to talk to you guys about is, did you know that Billy Idol almost was one of the male vampires?
Oh,
wow.
no.
That would've been
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
would've
Makes
been cool.
sense. Being it was UK
Yeah. Yeah.
film
I
production.
think that would have been awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you
Yeah,
imagine
boy, if he
him
didn't use
delivering that
lines.
line?
Oh, see,
That would have been great.
Yeah.
that would have been cool. That would have really put it over
Yep.
the top, I think.
Yep.
Yeah, because for me, that's the main problems is, and we talked about this a little bit, is the cast, the
Yeah,
main two guys that you're
unfortunately.
following around most of the time.
Well, and the way they're used in the script, yeah,
Yeah.
not just the cast, but how they're utilized could have been better.
Just,
yeah.
I mean, and it's funny because they're good performances. None of
Right.
none of the acting is stands out to me as like bad acting.
Right.
You know?
But it's not amazing either.
It's not amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not enough to be like carrying a whole film.
Yeah.
Kinda
Well,
thing.
sometimes it's when your focus needs to be more on the story and less on your characters,
Yeah.
right? And this tried to be character driven.
Yeah.
And so the thing that really bugged me was that so we got Carlson and then we got that SAS guy,
Yeah,
the
and-
Secret Service.
And we don't know
dude.
his name either.
And to be honest, I wouldn't have even remembered Carlson if she didn't keep saying it.
Yeah.
Because
Right.
they're boring characters, to be
Right.
honest.
Yep. They're
And
really
like,
one
and I kept
dimensional.
asking myself, like, why do I give a shit about this SAS guy?
Yeah.
Like, because first they introduce him, so he's Secret Service, right? And so he's kind of like a skeezy goon
Yeah.
type character. Anyway, but then it's like, are we supposed to like him?
Yeah.
Because I don't ever like him.
Yeah. No,
So
he's not likable at
I
all.
will say,
And-
up until a little in the middle of the film,
Yeah.
you almost don't know who the main character is.
Right.
And that's another.
That's
That's
kind
a
of
big
mistake.
problem too,
Yeah.
Yeah.
In storytelling.
Yeah, and it's I was thinking about it, and it's like it's almost like you can contrast this with the X-Files in a way.
Yeah.
Because you've got Mulder and Scully
Right.
going around investigating whatever
Yes.
paranormal thing is, but both of them. There's not much character there either,
Right.
but they're likable enough.
Exactly.
And the dynamic
You
between
care
them,
about them. Yeah.
that's what makes the story work.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
like these guys, and there was no humor too. Like
None.
they were just
I
dead
didn't even think
serious.
about that till you said
there
it.
was
There's
humor,
zero.
just not in the way they wanted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Patrick Stewart was great,
Right.
hilariously great,
Yeah, right.
with his woman's
Right.
voice and vomiting blood.
Yes.
But
Yes. Well, all the parts that we were laughing at was people getting exploded
Yeah.
and blown to bits and
Yeah.
stuff, and that's you probably don't want that.
but no character humor.
Yeah.
So
No
I love the
ca-
fact, real quick, that there is somewhere out there is a mold of a Patrick Stewart head that they used
Yes!
for this movie. Like that is just great that it's
That's
sitting
right.
out there somewhere.
It's in somebody's closet.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you, Mr. Corleone, I remember you when we were watching it. You were like, "Oh man, so cool when Patrick Stewart shows up." You know, you're like, he just commands the scene. And
Oh man, doesn't he?
Oh yeah, really.
And he really does. I mean, you
Really.
kind of feel like, oh man, I wish there was more of him in this
Yeah.
He
movie.
should have been the
you
main
know?
character.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I would have. They
Yeah.
wouldn't
Oh
even have
right,
to change
dude, it would
much.
have been a totally different movie.
Him and
if
Billy
they'd
Idol.
cast him, man.
Yes.
They should have been the main two guys.
Yes.
Really? Yes.
That would have been awesome.
If you come here now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So one more criticism, because we're going to get to all the parts that we love.
Yeah.
But two, and I think this is, I'm going to be critical of Dan O'Bannon, because I think in some of his other movies, he's guilty of this as a writer also. So Dan O'Bannon wrote it, right? So we're talking Alien, Return of the Living Dead. What else did he do?
Dark Star?
Was it
Dark Star. Yes, thank you.
Hellraiser? No?
Nope.
He didn't do that, but
That was Clive Barker.
yeah, but
Oh,
you're
okay.
thinking of
Oh,
the
thank you. Yes.
Yeah.
the actor's name though was something like O'Bannon, isn't it?
Oh.
In Hellraiser? I don't know. I thought the main dude, the Pinhead guy's name,
Is
Dan-
Doug Bradley.
Doug Bradley. Okay, never
Yep.
mind.
Yep.
See, DB.
Yes, there we go. But so Dan O'Bannon has this tendency as a writer to want to tell you things. He wants to give you backstory.
Yeah.
So he's going to drop you into your story, and then it's going to move forward, and he's always going back to explain why the things that are happening are happening.
Yeah.
And that became kind of redundant in this film.
You're
Like
right.
you're always just like, he's gonna hand us the next part, and so the main character in this, now I want to call him O'Bannon, whatever the main character's name is, Carlson, would be like, I'm gonna tell you this, I'm gonna tell you this, I'm gonna tell you that, which is important right in the beginning. But then he's like, well, that didn't actually happen. This is what actually happened. And then I know what's happening because I have a psychic link, and so I'm gonna be the way that I tell you the whys.
Very lazy.
I don't know. That's not a very good. Yeah, it's
It's that whole thing of like show don't tell.
Yeah,
right?
right.
Yeah. You're right. He did kind of just like, all right, let's have a cool scene or so,
Yeah.
and then let me just like regurgitate
Yeah,
exposition on
exactly.
you. And then let's move on again.
That's exactly what happened.
Rinse and
Almost
repeat.
timing. If we had Raceland Brand here, he would tell us exactly what the moments are.
Yeah.
Because he loves doing that with scripts. He's like, at 7 minutes this happened, and then at 14 minutes that happened, and it's a little bit formulaic way.
And even worse too is he'll do things where it's like this happens and then you're confused. And then he's like, and now I'm going to explain why that happened.
That too.
And you're
there
like,
was that
what?
one moment when we were all sitting there and we were like, oh gosh, he's doing it again, right? Yeah, because exactly that happened.
Yeah, that's so annoying.
Yeah.
So
Return of the Living Dead does that a little bit too much too, and that's funny because I totally saw the connection, because Return of the Living Dead, without even looking at IMDb, I guarantee you was the next movie that Dan O'Bannon did, and there's a lot you could tell that there was things he was priming himself for in that next movie, especially with all the zombies. Because in that one, it's like there's a bunch of zombies, right? They're not freaking vampires like they are in this one, which is even kind of questionable whether or not they're vampires. But there's zombies in that one, but that's also a freaking like a comet or something. Right?
Yeah,
No,
that's
it's not
right.
a comet. It's
That's right.
but it's something from outer space that
It's
fucking
an evil star.
Yeah, right. It's a dark star. Oh wait,
Right.
I'm glad you pointed those out,
But-
the similarities, because man, are you right? Like
yeah.
after you
There's
pointed that out, I was
one
like, oh,
kind of foreshadows the other.
if I just
big
walked
time.
in the room, I might think we're watching that.
Right.
Yeah,
I
true.
know, right?
It's like the prequel.
Which, so if our viewers, if you haven't watched it, go out and see Return of the Living Dead, because it's awesome. It has nothing to do with the Living Dead series, except in name, as it is Return of the Living Dead. But it's a very good, I think it's the same year, too. I want to say it's 85 or it's 86.
It's right around that same
It's
time.
right there, yeah.
It has oil zombies.
Yes, oil zombies. There we go. You got your finger on it. That's it. That is what it is. Oil, yes. 55-gallon drum oil can zombies.
Yeah. So good.
And don't ever throw your zombie. What you learn from that movie is don't ever throw your zombies in the incinerator. Because they'll be burned and their ashes will infect everybody.
My favorite part of that whole movie is when the zombies call Remember that?
Yeah.
When they
Oh, yeah.
call the,
Yeah, on the phone.
ambulance, and
Yeah,
they're like,
yeah.
"Send more ambulances."
Yeah.
Because it's like pizza delivery. They just keep eating the
That's
ambulance
exactly
drivers.
what it is. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, there are parts in that movie. That's maybe it's Dan O'Bannon because that's got the super naked punk rock queen of the zombies. She's naked the whole time.
He has a
Just
thing
like
with
this
he needs
one is
a
a
naked
naked
woman
lady,
in his
yeah.
scripts. Yeah.
But then what? The moment when I was like, oh, dude, it's totally that is when. In Lifeforce, when they're the army, the British, we see it from the UK, the British standpoint, but they're talking about nuking the city of London, right? Because they're like, oh, it's a contagion, we're gonna have to nuke. That's exactly what happens it's exactly point for point what happens with the zombie outbreak in Return of the Living Dead, right? They have to nuke whatever. I forget what city. Baltimore.
I wonder if Golan Globus did Return of the Living Dead as
well.
well.
Oh man, they might have.
It's got to be. It seems like a canon
totally
thing, doesn't it?
Yeah. Yep.
And that was a kind of a successful movie too,
Yeah.
even at the time.
Yep.
So
Yep.
good job, Canon.
Yeah.
You did a couple ones right.
Props to that. Yeah. But, okay, so let's more stuff that we loved about this movie.
Yes.
Real quick.
Yes.
Doors.
Oh, doors.
Oh, the doors.
Was there enough doors in that security building?
That was great.
I have to think that was almost a little bit of a gag.
It had to be.
Yeah.
It had to be, right? Having him run from room to room like that. And it's
Right.
literally, we're watching him run out of opening one door through a room to open another door through a room.
Yeah. So
In a hurry.
this is towards the beginning of the film.
Right in the beginning, yeah.
When they bring in the naked
first-
space vampire.
Yes. Yep.
And then she sucks the life force out of the security
The
guard.
security guard, yes.
And then the boss starts running.
Sees it
through-
on the videotape, yeah.
starts running down
Closed circuit, yeah.
with the music going, opening 473 doors to get to the room.
And we see almost every single one of them.
Yeah,
We
see
do.
everyone.
From
We
different
follow-
angles.
Yeah, yep. From the front, from the back, from 3/4. Yeah.
But that might just be an English thing though too, like maybe
Could
there's
be.
just a lot of doors inside of their
those
buildings.
fucking Americans and their less doors. I don't know.
Yankees don't know anything.
We have a little space here. Maybe we can put another door.
Can we put a wall
Let's
there,
put another
please?
door. Yeah.
You know what this wall needs? A door.
How are we supposed to get through that wall? Put a door in there. Come on now.
If we have enough doors, then they will. The person will eventually just run out of energy, and they'll just give up. They'll be like, okay, fine.
Defeated. Not another doorknob.
But it is things like that
Yeah.
that I love this movie.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, that part was just instantly great especially because we all got it too. It was like just an instant. We're watching. It was like,
There's a lot of doors.
what is going on?
Yeah. So good. I mean, besides the effects, which we can talk a lot about.
Oh gosh,
I feel like we're gonna get to that.
Yeah. I do want to mention a couple things that I noticed too.
Yeah.
That I really loved was towards the end when the doctor Filardi or something his name is.
Yes.
Remember the big white hair, the Christopher Lee guy.
Yep.
The young Christopher Lee.
When he's when he's standing there in the shadow, that scene was really cool
It
because
was.
like
That
you
was
you
very
weren't
Tobe
sure if he
Hooper.
was a zombie or not, and and then the sky behind him too. It was like that weird yellow color. That was super cool.
Color,
I was like, they should have done more of that yellow sky stuff going on.
Totally.
They nailed shadows in this movie.
Yeah,
Using
big time.
shadows.
Real good use of shadows.
Not
good
just
lighting,
but even with
the security
the
guard
space girl,
shot
the
when the
girl
naked
vampire.
girl walks by
At the beginning.
Yep. That was a
Where
good
she's
one.
in that dark corner. That was
Yeah.
That was great.
Yeah.
True.
That totally reminded me of Tobe Hooper's freaking masterpiece Salem's Lot.
Yes.
A lot of the use of color and the use of dark.
I might have to go back and watch that.
Oh, dude, yeah. You could totally.
That should be another episode because we got to watch
We
it
should
too.
because we keep talking about it and
Oh,
it's
really?
good. The only reason we haven't done it is because it's 3 hours long, and so we're like,
well, and it's confusing too, right? Because there's like the miniseries and then there's the cut together
whole
movie
mess.
version.
Yeah.
And then there's also Return to Salem's Lot.
Return to Salem's Lot. Yep.
So we just got to get down and watch it.
We
all.
just got to do it. We got
Yeah.
to do it. Yeah. Yep. Because it's great, but it's definitely with those the color and everything. That was, I think, Tobe Hooper's vision. that's where you knew you were watching a Tobe Hooper film,
Yeah,
right? Was
yeah.
with the color and everything,
Yep.
yeah,
It
and
was-
the shadows.
It was really nicely done.
Yep.
The camera work in this movie was really good.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah.
And the camera work was great. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's one of the things we didn't have any complaints with, really.
And the John Larroquette
John
narration
Larroquette!
in the beginning too. That was
Yes!
awesome.
Which one?
So that's the guy that did the narration for Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And he
Yes.
also
You pointed
narrated
that
this.
out.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's like that's
Yes,
got to be
yes.
John Larroquette. It was.
You nailed it.
Yeah.
Yep. Everybody's favorite night court freaking prosecutor. Not prosecutor. He was the defense attorney in...
If you see a picture of this guy, you'll be like, "Oh yeah, that
Oh
guy."
yeah,
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah.
He was Maltz,
Yeah.
your favorite Klingon from
That's right.
from Star Trek 3.
Search for Spock.
Yeah,
That's
Search
it,
for Spock in
yeah.
Star Trek 3. He is Maltz.
Mm-hmm. He was also in. I feel like he was in a movie with Kirstie Alley, wasn't he? Him and Kirstie Alley, and they were like, it was like House something.
Like a scary movie?
No.
No,
It was like
comedy.
it was like
Oh,
one of
okay.
those movies that
Yeah.
was riding off of Home Alone kind of thing, where it's like it's like, oh, we're gonna leave the house and the kids are gonna be there, and then they're gonna make booby traps, and you know.
Right.
He was in a few of those like
Yes.
just idiotic movies.
Yep.
He's good, but like
Yep.
just had a bad agent or something, I guess.
Yeah.
So when he wasn't working with Tobe Hooper, he just made bad choices.
Right.
You know? He just needed more Tobe Hooper.
Yeah.
Right.
We
So I
all
think that
do.
was the very Texas Chainsaw Massacre was the first thing he did, right? I'm almost positive. That's like 74. Yeah. And it's so funny that he is how could he do anything else but start as a voiceover actor,
Yeah.
right? The guy's voice is
He's
fantastic.
got a great voice.
He's got
Yeah,
that
it is,
giant
Yep.
It really
that
is.
tall man, that tall
Right.
huge baritone.
It's very authoritative.
Yeah.
You know?
He could just like make a documentary about something, and I'd
Mhm.
listen.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yep. For sure.
You hear that?
Um,
John, we're going to get you a job here.
Yep.
Another great line that I remember, I don't know if you guys remember this, is it's like somewhere in the middle of the movie there's that news report, and the guy's
Yes.
like, "Comet, it's Latin for
Oh.
evil star,"
Yeah.
and I was like,
Yeah.
"What? Is that right? Like that can't be right." But that's great.
That was like dialogue for the sake
Yeah.
of freaking
Yeah,
dialogue,
it really
right?
was.
Which usually never works. And in that case, yeah, it was just funny. We all started laughing, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
But that also reminded me that, and I kind of have dim memories of this too, of like how big Halley's Comet was
Yeah,
at the
oh,
time.
right,
Like,
absolutely.
everybody was on
Absolutely.
about Halley's Comet. Oh my
Yeah.
God, it's the hugest
We're
thing.
showing our age here, poor.
Yeah.
Or maybe not. Maybe good thing here because young Mr. Corleone wasn't even born then.
Man.
But I totally remember watching the Different Strokes episode where the episode is about them going to watch Halley's
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Comet, and I'm asking my parents like, "So we're gonna watch Halley's Comet,
Right,
right?" They're
right.
like, "Oh yeah,
It's
yeah,
like the
yeah,
biggest
yeah, it's
thing
real."
Oh
ever.
wow, yeah.
Yeah, it was a huge deal because, and they say that in the movie too. It's like you probably won't live to see the next one because it's every 70 years, right?
76, he said in the movie.
Or
I don't know if
76
that's
years?
correct
Yeah,
in
yeah.
real life, but
Yep.
Yep.
So you kind of get like one shot.
Yep.
interesting.
So yeah. So another 70 years until we can see more naked space vampires.
Right.
So.
I wish
That was cool that they were hiding their ship in Halley's Comet, though, right?
that was cool. Yeah.
That was pretty savvy.
Yeah.
I like that.
was
This is
cool.
a movie I kind of wish they would remake
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, dude.
and do it well. Like
To fix
yeah,
the handful
really-
of things we talked about, it could really be killer.
Yeah. There's a lot of
And
potential.
have Patrick Stewart be the lead. Dang it.
Yes.
yes,
Really.
and get Billy Idol in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even now, I'd
yeah.
still
For
love
sure.
to see him in there.
For sure. I was actually when I was watching, I was thinking about like who would be a good lead for this movie. You know, if they remade it. I still can't. I haven't
that's
thought about it. It's got to be somebody that I feel like we mentioned earlier. There needs to be a little humor in there somehow.
There does. There really
I don't know
does.
about humor, but like James McAvoy, he could do it.
He could.
Ooh,
Yeah. He
okay.
could do it.
Do you guys remember?
Yes.
Did you guys ever watch Split
Absolutely.
or any of?
Oh yeah,
Yep.
he's great.
He's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah,
He,
yeah.
he,
Yeah,
could, he
he's-
could easily do it, and then
Yeah.
partner
He could.
him up with somebody else. Because
Yeah.
there seems to
Yeah.
be like a. Seems like they want to tell a story with
Yeah,
two
they-
leads playing
right.
off of each other.
Yeah,
Right.
that's
Right.
fine.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, get somebody like David Tennant or something. To,
Oh,
Dude,
yeah.
awesome,
Dude,
actually.
Doctor Who.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Love that
'Cause
guy.
he's
Dude, oh,
funny,
that's a great
too.
call there. Yeah.
He can be serious too.
He can,
and
yeah,
he is
but
hilarious.
he's got great comic relief
Yeah.
sometimes without being even outright
man.
funny. He can
Yeah.
he can lighten the mood, right?
Yeah.
Which is what that character needed.
I would
Yeah,
actually,
dude.
I would actually watch David Tennant at like anything.
Yeah,
So
yeah, me too.
he's
Me
great.
too.
Did you see the remake of Fright Night?
Yeah,
That was him, right?
Yes,
That
it was.
Yeah,
You're right.
That was
Yes.
great.
With
The
what's his
magician.
name as the vampire? Colin
Farrell.
Farrell.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
He was great too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
yeah,
movie
yeah,
was
yeah.
actually.
It was
really-
awesome.
Yeah.
That movie
It was great.
awesome.
Yeah. It
I
was.
had we talked about this in the episode, but my
Yeah.
expectations were so low on that, and it would just
Yeah.
I was so the other way, like, oh, it's fucking great.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost like everything was perfect until the last act when everything was in the
Yeah, yeah,
in
the
the
end kinda
house,
falls
and
apart.
it just kind of fell apart in the house.
Yeah,
but,
yeah, yeah.
But yeah, other than it was great. Like,
Yeah.
and David Tennant really shone. In
Oh
that too, I
man,
think.
yeah.
So
Yeah,
that's
he
when
is
I
awesome.
yeah I never really watched Doctor Who, so
Well,
that Fright Night was like
If
whoa.
you ever do watch Doctor Who, just watch
Yeah.
David Tennant, Doctor
All
Who,
right.
and
Yeah,
that's all you need.
Yeah.
Yes,
That's all you need.
Yeah.
Well, the only one that I really know, and that was my dad would always watch it as a
Yeah.
kid, was the one with the long scarf.
Yes.
And you know that
Tom
one.
Baker.
Yeah, Tom Baker.
Tom Baker.
I think he's Doctor number 4. I don't
Number
know.
4. You got it, dude.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. That's it.
Sweet.
Yeah.
So, all right.
So take that, internet.
Yeah. But yeah, Lifeforce. What else about it? Do we have to mention here?
Well, before we get into the stuff we really liked, because I
Yeah.
know that's just building for like
Yes.
a long segment here.
Yes.
One of the things I read on IMDb actually,
Yes.
and this might explain some of the weird, like storytelling,
Mm,
is that according to interviews, one of the male vampires, the film went over schedule, and because of it, some important scenes were never filmed.
Oh.
So it's not that maybe some got deleted; it's just that some
right.
maybe
They
just
just
never.
didn't actually get made.
So maybe
Yeah.
there is like a better
Yeah.
director's cut.
You know what? That
could have
kind of
been.
makes sense too, because there's always they're talking about the other 2 male vampires.
And then you never
They
see
don't
him.
ever. I mean, they get that
Yeah.
one line out of the one guy.
Yeah.
Which is the best line.
And true. But the other guy gets blown up with a grenade almost right off the bat,
And then
right?
when he
Yeah.
comes back together, he gets stabbed with a
And-
sword. I
Yeah.
don't think he had any lines, actually.
And we didn't get to see that scene either.
I know.
That's-
They
that's-
just talk about it.
Again, it's
I
like
know.
all of these great scenes that
Show us, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Don't
They're-
tell
They
us.
just
Yes.
they just
Show,
they
don't
just
tell.
tell us about it. Oh, like there he is. He's got a sword in him now.
Yeah.
You should have seen that, everybody.
Oh
Yeah.
man, if only you could have seen that.
Yeah. I know. I thought that too. So when the doctor who did that,
Yeah.
when we finally see him when he's all creeped out,
Yeah.
it's like, man, I would have wanted to see
Yeah.
his downward spiral.
Yes.
Because they just kind of, it's like, oh, and now he's a creep too. Now he's a
Right.
vampire. I was like,
There's so
oh,
much
man.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and now that I'm thinking about it too, like if they remade this now, there's no reason we should have 6 freaking Terminator movies, you know?
Right.
And we only have one Lifeforce.
Right.
Like, we should have another life. I mean,
Yes.
it's basically the Terminator too, it's,
Yes.
except they're
Yes.
vampires. But
Right.
if you had a cool chick one as the leader,
Yep.
and then 2 like huge thugs,
Yes.
and then
Oh,
you really develop those characters though, and they're like going around the city,
Yep.
and then you know each one,
Right.
that would be cool.
Right.
Yeah.
You're getting it. You're in Fright Night 2 territory here, but
Yeah.
yes, I'm with you.
Yeah,
And then you
yeah.
have their werewolf
Yeah.
friend who has long
Yeah.
fingers.
Right. But then at least they give them like character, give them
Yeah,
like-
yeah.
Don't just give them one line, even though that's a
Right.
great line.
Right. That was a great line.
Include that line though. If you
Yeah,
if
you
you
do
remake
have
I wonder too if the
Anyone
editor was like,
listening
we're
to
just going
this-
to edit out all his other lines. It's just going to be that.
If anyone listening to this ever remakes Lifeforce, keep that line in there, please, please.
That should be on the. That
got
should be like the byline on the, on the
Yes.
front.
Oh, man.
Yes.
It'll be less terrifying if you come to me. Lifeforce.
Put it in the trailer.
Oh, man.
It'll be less terrifying if you come this Halloween to Lifeforce 2, starring Billy Idol
And David Tennant.
and David
Version.
Tennant
Dave Tennant. Yeah.
and Patrick Stewart. That would be good. Yeah, but the effects though are really the real star.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like
Yeah.
we should talk about that
Yeah.
now.
Got to. Got to.
Just incredible.
Can we start off with the whole draining sequence?
Yes.
In the it's not a morgue.
No,
What
it's
is
just
that?
like an examination room.
Yeah, I guess it really just is that.
Yeah, that whole building was kind of strange, right? Because
That too.
it
yeah.
was like, what is this building?
Right.
Is
Right.
it a
Because-
military base? No.
Yeah,
Is
not
it a
really.
Science facility? No.
It's just a lot of doors.
Well, and it was confusing too, because then they go to the insane asylum.
Yeah.
You're like, well, so where were they before?
Yeah.
So they
Yeah.
weren't there.
Yeah.
And then like, why were they're just like keeping people in little cages down
Yeah.
It was just a
Right.
a
when they
door,
lock
a,
that
a door
was
factory.
yeah.
there. Yeah. Strange.
That was it.
We need some English people to leave some comments and just tell us.
How dumb we are.
Tell us why.
Tell us how dumb we are. But also tell us, why is there really that many doors inside of your mysterious buildings? And what do you have a lot of buildings that you're just not sure really what they are? Like, are they a police station? Are they a research
And do you
center?
feel like you need to add more doors to them?
Yeah.
Yes.
So we look forward to those comments.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you. But yeah, the draining scene though, that was great.
Yep.
I mean, that's really, this is the bread and butter of this movie.
Yeah.
This is what makes it fire
Yep.
on all cylinders.
Yep.
Just those dummies, those mummy
Oh,
dummies.
dude, they're great.
I mean,
They're great.
they still hold up pretty
Props.
well.
They really do.
Man.
Really do.
That's
Yep.
John Dykstra, right?
Yeah,
The visual
yes.
effects
Yep.
supervisor there.
Exactly.
Amazing
Not to be
work.
confused with the baseball player Lenny Dykstra, who used to play for the Twins and the
Yes.
and the Mets, right?
Yes.
Won World Series with the Twins and the Mets, actually.
That's
But, okay,
right.
sorry, I digress.
Yeah, but John Dykstra.
But
man,
John Dykstra, yeah,
he's-
really killed it in this one.
killed
And
it in
he's,
this one.
We've harped on him before
Well, and
for being pretty awesome.
I'm thinking about the woman one too.
Yes.
How she was just like moving, like her
Gosh,
arms and her legs are moving around, and
Because
like,
she's like strapped to the table.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that
hooked
was
up.
really well done.
Yep.
Those things were horrifying.
They
Yeah.
were. They
Like,
were.
you know, like
Yeah.
if
And
I-
really good
ugh.
too, in that it wasn't. It was what you hear people complain about so much too, is where it's all cut to. When you're doing the shots, you're doing all these cutaway shots, and it's like cutaway, 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 cutaway. So you're only showing just a little part of it. Those zombies, they didn't suffer from that. They were doing big long shots.
Yeah.
Where you actually see the whole thing on the table moving around, and the camera's not moving, and you're just showing it. Right?
Yeah. And their eyes are blinking and
Oh
stuff.
yeah,
and
the
the teeth,
faces were
too,
great.
right?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yep.
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 That whole
Yep.
scene was like, I was glued to the screen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
More so than the rest of the movie.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
That was just great.
Yeah, we needed more of those scenes.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
Sprinkled
yeah, because
throughout.
at the end it's all running zombies.
Yeah.
Zombies, right?
So-
I mean, are they zombies or are they?
Well, that's another
This
confusing
is
thing.
kind of weird,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Like,
Take on the vampire mythos.
So
Yeah. And how did that happen?
I think if they're gonna redo this movie, which
Yeah.
it sounds like we really want them to,
Right.
part of the problem with this movie too is like it kind of wants to be a like zoomed in creature feature,
Mm-hmm.
Right.
but at the same time it wants to be this like epidemic that's
Yes.
happening,
Right.
Yeah.
and it almost
Right.
can't do either when it's
Right.
in the middle like it
Right.
is.
You're
Yeah.
absolutely right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I would have loved just more of
Mhm.
the zombies draining people.
Yeah.
And kept it like much more like zoomed in with a few characters.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Just make it like just the city of London, or just a neighborhood in London,
Yeah.
or even just one building. It could just be that
Oh,
weird building. It could be
yeah.
all happening in
If-
that one.
If
weird
they made the
building.
just building, that would be
Yeah.
they could make it more creepy.
Right.
Yeah.
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 This is Reanimator again, right?
Mhm.
More like Reanimator.
Oh, man,
like
I
what
haven't
they
seen
did
that
in
movie. I need
yeah.
to watch that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. You will love. If you love this, you're gonna
Yeah.
freaking.
Oh, dude.
Your head's gonna
This is
explode.
yeah.
for
That's gonna
Reanimator.
answer everything that you want.
Oh, yeah.
Is kind of, which is funny because it was the same year, and so
Mhm.
a
It
lot
was,
of what
yeah.
plagued
Yeah.
this movie is what worked so well in Reanimator.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because that's really is
Yeah.
the solution. Reanimator is just it's all centralized. Like you barely even go outside once.
Yeah, hardly at all.
See, it makes it more
Yeah.
scary though.
Yeah.
It gives it way more atmosphere.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, totally.
Mhm.
Yep.
And then you have a lot more time to explore the characters and
Yep.
and there's less of this like why is this happening now? Why is
Yeah,
that happening
that's-
now? You know?
Just what I was thinking. Dude.
Yeah.
You have your finger on it. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So let's follow with me, guys, and correct me every time I'm wrong here. But so the basic premise of what is going on.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes, I would like
There
to break
are
this down.
vampires in space who ride Halley's Comet to the Earth every 70 years and then feed on human beings.
Yeah.
And they've been doing this forever, and this is why we have a vampire mythos. That's kind of what the Doctor more or less tells us,
And
right?
that was great. I loved
Okay.
that. The fact
Yeah.
that like the vampires are real, and
Mhm.
Yeah.
back in the
From
day they were
aliens.
just like essentially like from these vampires we found.
Yeah.
Yes.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
Right.
That was a cool thing. Yeah.
Okay, but the part where this is putting a bunch of spin on it is that the vampires are actually not drinking your blood. They're sucking your life force and turning you into not a vampire. They're turning you
Yeah.
into a zombie-like thing
It's like a husk.
Yeah.
that has, but if you don't feed every 2 hours, then you
you
are
turn in,
destroyed.
Yeah, you
Turn
you
into
have-
dust.
explode.
You turn, yeah.
Which real quick, zombie running through the great jail.
Yes,
and
Yeah.
that
exploding
was
into dust.
awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, that was cool.
That was great.
That was a
Yeah.
highlight. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely one of the best kill scenes
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah. And especially like it's right after you're introduced to the guy Mr. Corleone was calling Marcus from Indiana Jones.
Yes.
He's all like gimpy and he's got his eyes popping out. And,
I'm just
what's happening?
His
Oh.
facial expressions, man.
Yeah.
It's just it brought me right back to that.
I still think that's that actor from A Clockwork
Oh, I'm
Orange.
sure
I
you're
kept
right.
wanting to look and
I'm sure you're
cross-reference, but
right.
I am pretty sure
No,
that's the
it's-
dad from
yeah.
A Clockwork Orange. Yeah.
Because you can just see him like holding his breath kind of with his
Yeah.
eyes popping. Like,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's the guy. Yeah.
But yeah, so okay,
Yeah.
so the vampire girl
Yes.
kills the security guard at the
Right.
start, right?
Yep.
She like
Yeah.
drains him
Right.
into
Yeah.
that husk.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. And so then
Which then reanimates after
So
2 hours.
he's not a vampire because
No.
according to their mythos that she transferred some power into Carlson.
Carlson.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
he became towards the end one of them.
Right.
Yeah.
So she needs to transfer her energy to become like a full-fledged, like we'll just say like alpha tier vampire.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
So
Right.
the security guard then he's been like infected. He
Yes.
has to feed,
Yes.
and by not feeding, essentially like
He'll
explodes.
dry up.
Yeah.
But if he does feed, his life force, what he is sucking out,
Mhm.
as each of these not vampire goons, they're feeding into the thing, right?
Yeah,
into the
so-
big stream of life force that is being focused through the male vampire, and that is being sent up to the ship so
Yeah.
that they have food for intergalactic
another-
travel.
So the way
I
the
think,
way I
right?
understood it, and you guys can
guess.
correct me if I'm wrong here.
Yeah.
So the male was collecting it all. He was that cool light, which by the way,
Yes.
I
Right.
loved like how they filmed that.
Yeah.
It's essentially like
Yeah,
a
yeah.
light on a rod.
Yeah, right.
And then they added all the CGI later. That was
Yeah.
really neat.
Yeah.
So yeah, he collects it all.
Yep.
And then apparently, from what they said, I forget who said it. She's the only one that can transfer it up to the ship.
Yeah, which is why she's in the
And so
crypt or whatever.
What
it
I'm
is.
thinking is that, they essentially like use all these little husks to like collect souls.
Yeah.
He collects
Yeah,
them
yeah,
from her,
yeah.
gives
Right.
them to her. She sends them up to the ship.
Right.
And then it sounds like when they go into like the hibernation, they
the
essentially
70 years that it takes to get back to Earth.
they essentially
right?
live on these souls until
Yeah.
they do this again.
I
Yeah.
think that's it.
But then
And we're extrapolating a huge amount here. This
Yeah.
is what.
Oh man.
So they tell a little bit, but this is.
we're
It's-
connecting dots here.
we
that
are.
Yeah.
We are not sure. Maybe.
yeah, because a lot of this wasn't explained with the flashbacks.
Absolutely
Not at all.
not.
Yeah.
I
no,
feel like
this is you have to intuit.
You
Yeah.
have to really be you have to be a better investigator than Carlson and the other guy
Right.
to follow the plot of this movie.
or what's his name that we don't know, his
Yeah.
partner.
Carlson and that guy.
And that guy.
Art Garfunkel. I thought he looked a lot
he
like Art
did look
Garfunkel.
like that.
He does look
So
like Art
Garfunkel and Carlson, you need to be
Yeah.
better than them.
yeah.
I thought he looked like Starsky, who is in frickin' Salem's Lot.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah,
But
so-
but then here's another confusing thing though is when they first find the naked space vampires in their ship, right?
yes,
There's all those bat guys floating
Yeah.
around, just like desiccated
Right.
up there.
Oh,
What are those guys?
So
then?
I think I know what those are.
Okay.
And again, I might be connecting dots here.
insight. Come on.
But they did say, Christopher Lee dude said,
Yes.
I think it was him, said that they had been up there so long that he thinks that they were feeding off of each other. And so I think all those husks may have been other vampires.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
there must
And
have been a lot of
Right,
them.
right. The only thing I had gotten was when she is explaining, when head female vampire is explaining to main character dude Carlson about her form, right? Because he's like, you're a terrible vampire thing, and you're not a human, and she's like, oh, it's just all the forms that we take.
Yeah.
Right, i.e., why is she a human? Well, she tells him, I'm only a human because I looked into your deepest thoughts,
Yeah.
and I am what you wanted most.
The perfect woman, essentially
Right.
what he imagined.
But I think what she's also saying is that they're also not just those bat things, the bat monsters. They can also be that, but they're more like a.
I think that might be their true form though, because the one male vampire when he turned into it,
That's true.
it kind of
He
looked
does.
like all the ones on the ship then.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, that maybe so, maybe so. You could be right. I was thinking more it was like they were shapeshifter. They're like
They definitely
they're more
are.
like a life force. They're just like I'm getting all Star Trek here. They're like some glowing light thing that
like
then
the
takes a
dead
different. Oh, that's it. That fucker came from an that guy from outer space too. Oh shit.
That was an evil star too. I think.
It was,
Guys,
right?
we just stumbled upon it. Pennywise is
He's
a vampire,
life force vampire.
a life force vampire.
A life force vampire. Yes.
How did we not see this before?
Dang it! It's because we hadn't seen the movie. Come on,
comes
Peter.
back
You
every
should have told us.
27
You knew
years.
this, didn't you?
No, dang.
Every 27 years he comes back.
Right.
Yeah.
See.
It's gotta
He's
be
on
tied
some
in
other
there.
comet that just has a shorter orbit.
We need to go back and track down the original book called Space Vampires.
I want to read it now. I really
Isn't
do.
that fucking great that that's the name of it?
Yeah.
Space Vampires.
First of all, when was that book written?
yes.
Second of all, if that book is like from the 40s or 50s, or
Yeah.
something, I wonder if Stephen King did take some
Right.
stuff from there.
Right,
when
right.
he made it.
He's like, I will perfect this
Yeah.
and make it a clown, not a stupid
Right.
naked vampire lady.
But it's a naked lady. It's
So-
but wait till I see Tim Curry.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So according to Wikipedia,
Yes.
it looks like 1976 was the book.
Oh, so
All right.
not too,
No.
less
So
than 10 years.
That may be.
So that guy was stealing from Stephen King.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
Not,
right.
not the other
Unless
way
I
around.
found the wrong book, but it's called The Space Vampires.
Oh, it's got to be it. Yeah.
But yeah.
Anyways, that's a great title though, and that's something we should also touch on. Is that why change the title from Space Vampires to Lifeforce?
Yeah.
They thought Space Vampires was apparently pretty bland. I think it's
Dang.
great.
I mean,
It would take out most of the guesswork that we're having to go through here now.
you could not change anything in this movie. Keep it
Yeah.
exactly the same as it is right now,
Yeah.
and call it Space Vampires.
Yeah.
I will instantly like it like 10% more.
right.
Just
right.
just for the title alone.
Yeah. I guarantee you more people would have saw it too.
Yeah.
Just
Oh, yeah.
on the strength.
Life Force
right.
could be anything. Space Vampires?
That's
I've
the
never seen
thing.
that before, right?
That's
Right.
And so I'm trying to imagine like how many times I've heard people review like in reviews and stuff or talking about some movie called Life Force, and I didn't even bother to take the time to know what that was.
Yeah.
And then until finally I found out what Life Force was, and then it was like, oh crap.
Yeah.
I didn't even care about that title.
Right.
Whereas if you had said Space Vampires, I would have been like, oh shit.
Yeah. It's
That
like,
sounds
I'll see
great.
that 100 times.
You know,
I
yeah.
agree.
Yeah. Life Force, just on the surface alone, it just sounds like a cheesy sci-fi movie. Or
Yeah,
something,
it
you know?
does.
It sounds
It
like
does, yeah. Yeah,
uh,
way more sci-fi than horror, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It sounds like
Yeah.
it sounds like a bad episode of Star Trek.
Right. Oh no, of Voyager,
Yeah.
season
Yeah,
7.
it's Voyager Star Trek. Life Force, Part 1A.
Oh man.
Tuvok finds someone to talk to who will listen to the things
will
he's
listen to
sad about.
Tuvok's Life Force. Oh God! Turn the channel.
Kill me.
Hurry quick.
Oh, Voyager, what'd you do to Star Trek? Damn it.
Jeez. Yeah, because I will harp on Star Trek, but
Yeah.
the Next Generation and the original
Yeah.
series,
Yes.
they're the greatest.
They're awesome. They're fantastic.
Man.
Yeah, yeah. Post generation gets kind of sketchy.
Man, Patrick
Yeah.
Stewart too, man.
Yep.
It's like he just owns
The
it.
man, dude. Oh, okay. So his
telling you.
vomiting blood scene
Yes.
into the ceiling, which when that turns into her, that one might have
Yeah.
been my favorite.
Oh,
effect.
that was awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, did you see like her hair? It,
Oh,
looked,
dude.
it was like I don't want to say tentacles, but it was
Yeah.
like
It was great.
it was
It was
cool.
like Medusa blood
Yes.
It was
hair.
great.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was
like
great.
Medusa feels what I got. Yeah.
Yep. Do you know what that instantly made me think of? I'm sure both of you guys have seen this. Have you both seen Vampire Hunter D Bloodlust?
Oh yeah.
Right?
Totally
That's a
that.
vampire in space. She comes
Yep.
out of the blood. She builds herself out of the blood and
Yeah.
everything, because
There's-
they're on Earth, but she's got the rocket, and
There's
she's
kind
talking
of a
about
lot of
how
similarities there
Yeah.
as well.
Totally.
Yeah,
totally.
yeah. But that whole forming up out of the blood, I was like, oh, dude, that's bloodlust. Rip that off and did a better storytelling. I
Yeah.
don't know if that part was better, but they definitely rifled some of the
That
cool
was
things
great.
out of
That
this
was
movie.
really great.
I'd be curious to see how well this movie did in Japan, actually.
Yeah, sure.
because Japanese
would've-
like naked people.
Yes.
If you would have
So,
made her in the blood throughout the whole
Oh,
movie,
I was
Oh,
thinking
dude.
that too.
it would have been
yeah.
way creepier as well.
Right.
Way creepy.
Right.
Way
Right.
way more effective.
Yeah, you
Oh,
could have had just that over and not just over and over again, but yeah, like some dead body, you know, and the blood's pooling up, and then she forms up out of it or something to do her attacks.
Okay,
that'd be
put
great.
that for the remake.
Yeah. Yep. Yes.
Because that would be awesome. She just travels around in pools of blood.
Right.
Oh,
yeah.
so
right.
awesome.
You can have her goon during the day carrying around like a bucket of blood, you know?
How cool would that be?
Well,
just like this naked woman, beautiful naked woman covered with blood, and then she's always like, you know, cleaning herself off.
Yeah.
And then she goes, does something else, and then she's dirty
and she's hard to track down because she's essentially traveling in her like infected body, like host's body.
Yes. Yeah,
And they start
that
puking
would have
blood.
explained that better too. That was. Did you guys think that was kind of cursory? This whole idea of her like possessing other people.
Yeah.
So I thought it was cool, but they didn't explain it.
They didn't flesh that out.
No.
Right?
No.
They kind of tried to tease us with it, and it was like, well, now you just distracted me. That's.
And again, like it's like they just didn't want us to like those two main characters. Almost,
that too.
Yeah, that's the only reason I can think of not explaining everything well in the beginning, right? Because they wanted you to have that moment where the unreliable narrator thing, right? Where Carlson tells you one version of things that happen, and then you believe him, and only to later on in the story for him to be like, actually, this is what happened. Yeah. So when he does that, you don't like him anymore, though. You actually like him less.
Anything you did like about him,
Yeah. Now you're like, I don't trust anything about this guy.
Yeah, they really should have made those characters much more. I don't want to say likable, but at least like better.
Or you know, all they would have needed though is one scene in the beginning where Carlson is like looking at her in her naked little petri dish thing, that blue blue container, that coffin, and they just needed him to be like looking at her, and then like close in on his eyes or something, and something where you get the idea that like she's like transferring her essence to him or something, you know, because when that starts happening, you're like, what the heck's going on now? She's this lady, now she's Patrick Stewart,
right.
What?
Right.
Yeah, I think they had a lot of cool ideas. They just,
it just wasn't. It wasn't shown to us. It was told to us. Right?
I think the thing is they had too many cool ideas, and they were trying to incorporate them all, right?
Yeah,
Because if you take a few of those and you flush them out, like you said, Dr. K, they're much better then, right?
That's right.
That's so true.
Yeah, because otherwise it's like puzzle piecing for us. We're trying to figure out all of these things all at once, right? Not to say that we're dumb, but it is easier on us if there's less things that we have to guess about. Yeah.
And again, too, if you're gonna make it confusing, that's fine. But then make the characters likable so that you enjoy finding out with them.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
So that you're sympathetic.
But we're not enjoying finding it out with these two jokers. We're just like, come on.
Yep.
When can we get back to the vampires?
Yeah, I want to see them plunging more things into Patrick Stewart's neck.
Oh, that was great.
Cool.
And
double
shot.
Kramer opening the door there with the shots. That was a weird shot.
Dude. Even before, when he brings the tray in, he just opens the door and then just like pauses on him for a few seconds. So I brought you the drugs.
Which I love the fact that he's this nurse, because he is one. He's just taking orders from these two people that barge in and like essentially knock out their boss.
Right.
And he's just like, let me go get some more shots for you.
And then he just goes and stands over by one of the pillars.
Yeah, they open the door and he's just like against the wall.
These are just some bad orderlies.
Wait here until I'm needed. Bad orderlies. I like that.
He did have a nice orderly suit though.
He did.
Starched.
Yep.
You know, not quite bell-bottom pants, but they're definitely still that style, those long legs.
And he had I think why he said Kramer too. He had the big Kramer hair too.
He did. He looked good. Yeah. Kind of pointless.
That was great.
Also, I thought it was funny, and I wanted to mention this. I'm glad I remembered now. When we were watching it, remember? So after after the scene that we all liked, where the doctor is all zombified and stuff. And then they run into the helicopter, right?
Yeah.
And the the helicopter pilot has been sitting out there the entire time.
Yeah.
Did you notice that?
I
Like,
noticed
he's just
that too.
Like,
Yeah.
like how long were they
He's
in
been
there?
sitting in the helicopter
just
with
sitting
it on.
with
Yeah.
everything going on.
Yeah.
Yeah,
With the
yeah.
helicopter, and so like London is falling apart behind him. Like fireballs are jettisoning out of all the windows of every building, and he's just sitting there like,
Another fucking Wednesday.
yeah. And he's like they didn't even say they're coming back or anything either. He's just like, well, they might come back, so I'll just wait
Yeah.
here.
Just wait here. Cab, just leave the meter running on that helicopter.
Maybe it was the same orderly. It was also. You have to go back and check because that guy liked waiting around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait
He
here
like-
till I'm needed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this.
Yeah.
You want me to
It was
fly
a
helicopter?
union job,
Okay.
I guess, right?
You know,
yeah.
maybe that's why. Maybe that's why he didn't tell all the other orderlies. He's like, "This is the most work I've ever done.
Yeah,
This is
yeah,
cool."
This is a heck of a week.
This movie gets better the more we
Yeah.
talk about it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
Can we talk about that dream sequence though?
Yes.
That was really cool.
Yeah.
But at the same time,
Yep.
Again, with a lot of the stuff in here,
Yeah.
it wasn't really fleshed out or explained
Yeah.
very well, so
Right.
it didn't feel like it fit.
Right.
But it was cool.
It was. The problem was they never went back to that. It only happened
Yes.
once.
Yes.
Right. Remember
The nightmare he had.
the nightmare he has where he's in his bed,
But
and
she
then
is
she
talking
comes
to him.
and descends on him, and we don't know if that's actually happening or not. And then he wakes up and he's all sweaty.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
That was cool. Yeah.
yep.
That's right. That's right.
That would have been great. That was one where they needed to go back and that happens again.
Yes.
And then we would have totally remembered. And I think it would have made us be like, okay, they obviously have a bond,
Yeah.
right? Because I think what they tried to do was tease us with this first idea that they have a bond with that, but then they don't ever go back to it, and then we're like, what is going on? Like, why does he have his psychic ability all of a sudden? And
You know what it is? I'm gonna say this. Okay. This is one of the things that might be problematic about it, at least for me.
Yeah.
Is my opinion. Okay. But I'm thinking
all we
that this
care
is
about.
true for a lot of people though.
yeah,
Is that by making her naked
yeah,
and she's beautiful,
right,
instantly you're thinking from the guy's point of view, and maybe this is a male chauvinist pig guy thing.
you're in the right
But-
room,
But
Pete,
but
you're in the right
as
room.
as a guy who loves women, right?
Yes.
That is very hard to project yourself into that main character's head and to not just be like, she's hot,
Right,
and just stop, full stop.
right,
You know, so
Right.
as when I'm looking at this
Yep.
Carlson guy, I'm just thinking when he's looking at her and he's all like, "Oh my God, whoa," and he's his eyes are getting all big. I think they're trying to explain like, "Oh, there's some weird mental
Yeah.
connection here." But the
Right.
problem is she's hot and
Is
she's
it
naked.
any man,
Yeah.
red-blooded man in space would do
Be
that.
like, and even one of the other guys says that too. He's like,
Yeah.
"I've been in space for
That's
6
right.
months and she's perfect."
Yeah.
So, yeah, you're not establishing that there's this weird spiritual
Right.
connection.
You're
You're just establishing that she's naked
Yep.
and he thinks she's beautiful.
And he's a guy.
And he's a
Yep.
guy.
Yep.
And you know what?
Men are idiots.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And men
Okay.
are idiots. And like, it's like, yeah, I get it. She's hot. Yeah. You know,
Totally.
But they're
Which
trying
also,
to.
I thought this too. Once I found out that when she gives up that she's just showing herself to him as the way he wants to see it. Wouldn't the two dudes have done that too?
Yeah.
Wouldn't they have all three been naked women?
Yeah.
So they don't actually have to be women if they're just going to show, Yeah. There could have been 3 naked women there, and then the
Right.
entire crew would have been like, "Hey,
Right,
one for
right.
everybody!"
Yeah, that's true. Why were there 2 dudes?
Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know.
Maybe they can't turn into. Maybe if they're like a male vampire, they can't
Yeah,
project as a female. I don't know.
maybe.
I don't
That's
know.
a-
Yeah, the powers of projection. What-
Right?
Yeah.
Like that. It's not explained, so
Yeah.
we'll never know. But
Right.
that's
Yeah.
that's
Right,
one more
right,
thing never
I
explained.
think the key is in that guy's line though when he says, "It'll be less terrifying." I think
if you
there's
come
something
to me,
there. There's something
think-
there.
I think if
They
we-
don't want to terrify you.
That's right.
I don't know. We're really analyzing this a lot here, guys.
That's all right.
Yeah.
That's because we love it.
yeah, I
It's 'cause we
do
love
love
it.
it.
It is fun.
Again,
it's
we're
fun.
so
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think you do have to watch. I mean, because this is my thing. I watched it alone a few years ago.
Yeah.
And I was telling it to Dr. K, like, "Oh, space vampires and all these things," and he's like, "Yes, yes, yes, yes." But then I said it at the same time though. There's a lot of slow parts. And it's really
Absolutely.
but
Absolutely,
but
you did.
that's
Yes.
that's by yourself watching it though. When you're watching it with friends,
right,
it's a different thing.
It does.
So it's a lot
It
more
does,
fun with the three of us.
Yeah. And it's still and no, you're absolutely so right. Yeah.
Yeah, because so that's what we're saying, I think, is we're recommending this movie, but just make sure to watch it with other people.
That's right.
If you watch it by yourself, you're going to get bored to tears, I think, because I was the first time I saw it.
Yep.
Yeah, this is definitely more fun with people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, although I would say that, like, I was still, although I was bored a lot, I mean, those effect shots made it worth it. I would still recommend it just on that alone, just to see those guys sucking the life force,
Yep.
That sounds bad, but you know what I mean.
From the straw.
Yeah. You got to see those guys sucking the life force.
I will say, though, I wish they didn't show so much, like, horrible kissing.
Yeah.
Could Carlson,
wasn't that awkward?
Carlson can just not kiss, at all.
Yeah.
It was like watching like your really nerdy friend
Yep.
and his really nerdy girlfriend trying to like learn how to kiss.
Yeah. Awkwardly.
And it was just like, all right, well, you don't have to keep showing it. I get it.
Yeah. You love each other.
You can stop now.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that must have been so. I mean, we gotta give props to Matilda May.
Yes.
Because man, that's tough. She's a ballerina.
Right.
And then she's in a movie. She's a huge director and all this stuff.
Naked
and
the
now
whole time.
Now you just have to be naked and you have to make out with this caveman looking guy here.
I mean, we take for granted how much screen time she has.
Yeah.
Do you know how much time she's there naked on set for every minute of film that we see?
Jeez.
Hours and hours and hours,
That's uncomfortable.
Not to mention those outdoor scenes.
Yeah,
I know.
right.
They're in London. It's
Right.
cold. It's very cold.
It's cold all the time there.
I can't imagine those were fun to film.
Jeez.
Yep.
I bet you she had that orderly running around with a robe behind her all the time.
He would have had to
exit
through a door.
Open the doors. Open the doors, give her a robe, shut the door. Yeah.
Who ordered the serum?
3 more. So one other thing with Carlson is I get that he has these powers.
Yes.
But like is it just weird that he figures out these powers and how to use them so
intuitively?
fast?
Yeah.
Like, I thought
he's just
that
I
too.
have this connection with her.
Well,
okay, how'd you figure that out?
That's so true. That's weird. And also the other guy, the English dude, that guy never questions it either.
Oh, never. Yeah.
Even though like it's established in the beginning when he's talking to the doctor and he's like, "What happens after you die?" And he's like, "Do you really want to know?"
Yeah.
And he's like, "Not really." And so then that already establishes like he could care less about anything paranormal or he maybe
Yep.
And so then he meets Carlson and he's like, "Yeah, this guy he can read your mind. Let's go."
Yep.
He just you know what I mean?
Yep.
That's not very
do
good
know what you mean.
storytelling.
Very right there.
There's a lot of you just have to suspension of disbelief,
Yeah.
right?
Come on, Art Garfunkel. Jeez.
Maybe he was just jealous he didn't have powers.
Yeah, probably.
He did have a cool zombie headshot scene though.
Yeah, that was great.
Where that
was
zombie
great.
roars and he just turns
Uh-huh.
around quickly bam right in the face. I was like,
Yeah.
that's as he's running around with a sword.
Yes.
That was cool.
That was cool. That
Yeah,
was
it was cool.
redeeming.
A leaded iron sword.
Yes.
Because that was the magic recipe.
Yeah,
leaded
yeah.
iron.
I really wanted him to slice up some dudes with that though. I was
I
waiting.
know.
As he's
Yeah.
running around, I'm like, please, just a leg off of some
Yes.
zombie.
Right.
I agree.
They could have easily done that. I'm sure that was another one of those scenes,
time constraint.
Yep.
Yeah, we're out of money.
Yep.
This is Canon Films. What do you think you're doing here? Yeah.
But then they spent so much time just going around investigating things. Here's the thing. Let's go back to that scene right away in the beginning.
Yeah.
Where the woman, remember there's those two guys and they're like, "Yeah, we saw these naked ladies and we wanted to see if they were going to do anything to each other." Again, show us that scene.
Yep.
2, then they show us this super long scene where they're like investigating around the body and talking and stuff, and we don't need all that.
No.
Cut that whole scene out.
Mr. Corso said it perfect. Mr. Corso,
Corleone.
Sorry, Mr. Corleone. Sorry. Freudian slip of the tongue here. Said it so perfect. You're like, hey, there's a dead body there. We want to see that.
Yeah.
And they didn't even show that.
Yeah.
It's like it's a cursory shot when we see the body laying there, right?
The body's so good with practical effects.
Yeah.
Show it.
Yes.
Show it, right?
Right. But now they keep showing the cutaway to the kids being like, oh, yeah.
I know. We didn't need that. So let's talk about this here.
Yes.
We want to talk about a very interesting part of the movie.
Yes.
That we're still trying to wrap our brains around right now. Okay.
Yes.
So let's see if we can walk through this together.
Okay.
Here.
Okay.
Go, Mr. Corleone. Start off the scene with the Ellen, the hair.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So we find out through Carlson,
Yes.
like as they're going over the scene, you hear his voice explaining kind of that she's infected or changed bodies.
Yes.
Her spirit.
Yep.
Yeah.
I know. Yep.
With Ellen, that redhead curly girl looks like
Yes.
Sigourney Weaver. Or,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You hit that one
Yep,
perfectly.
Sigourney Weaver. Yeah.
Yep.
Dana Barrett.
Dana Barrett.
She gets in a car with a guy,
Yes.
and we think she infects him,
Right.
and then he is apparently taken to the insane asylum, right?
Yeah. So
Yep.
then this is where what we think happened
Yeah.
is that so she infects him.
Yes.
He goes to the insane asylum,
Right.
and then he's the one that infects Patrick Stewart.
Correct.
Off,
That's
off
what
screen.
I thought.
Off
Off
screen.
screen.
Off screen. Yes.
So
Yep.
again, all this things happens. All this interesting stuff happens off screen.
That's
Yeah.
right.
He's got this big black thing on his face. Also, what was
yeah.
that about?
Yeah. His birthmark.
Did
only
he
thing
have that before when he picked her up?
So I think he did because
Because that was weird.
the part that when I realized that is when what's the fucking main character's name?
Carlson.
Carlson is reiterating his vision
Yeah.
to the guy at the insane asylum.
Yeah.
He goes, there's a guy here who has a birthmark on his face because he had the vision of the man that was with the woman who was possessed.
Yeah.
And then that's when Patrick Stewart's character, I think, is like, oh, yeah, that's so-and-so.
So did Patrick Stewart make out with that guy then? And is that how, or what happened?
Yeah, I mean, that's, I think, yeah.
So he did like.
But wait a
like,
minute, but
yeah.
how did that guy end up there?
Yeah, so that's another big leap you had to take is so I think somehow when she transferred it to that guy, right?
Yeah.
Then he must have been acting weird.
He went berserk,
He
yeah.
went berserk, and then his wife brought him to the insane asylum or something, right?
Right.
But again, none of that was shown or
None.
explained either.
Oh, dude. Yeah.
Strange.
Very.
Yep.
But then they track Ellen, the girl, down.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes.
And that whole
That was a strange scene. Too.
very, because then again Carlson's just like figuring out his powers, and he just starts essentially slapping that lady,
Slapping her around.
and it's like a weird like
erotic.
S&M. It was
Yeah.
totally S&M. Like, I'm just going to, I can read her mind and tell that she wants me to kick her ass.
But then this goes back to Garfunkel here.
Yeah.
He's just like the worst partner in the world because he's like, I'm gonna let this happen and just sit on this couch and watch.
I want to watch.
Yeah, he's like, I'm a natural voyeur.
Like a total
This is how-
pervert. Yeah.
Again, that doesn't make us like you.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Makes you less trustworthy.
But that's weird though too.
man.
That scene doesn't make sense though because Carlson is slapping her around, and then he's like,
Light bulb. Figured it out.
yeah, oh, it's not her. She's not in here. But
She
then
wants me to.
She wants me. What's going on there?
yeah,
like so the vampire is not in her.
but it's like there's a residual trace of the vampire had used to be in her.
Yeah.
That's all. There's so many dots you have to connect, and
Maybe
That's slippery. It's really slippery.
yes,
Ugh.
yeah.
So I think we're gonna have to read the book. That will explain
Right.
it for us. I bet.
Right,
Or
or at
it'll
least
be-
the script.
Or
yeah.
it'll be so different than the movie.
Yeah.
That will be like
right.
way a lot
It'll have
more lost.
nothing to do with it. Oh, that'd be great.
But me and Venkman then we're talking. Then so when she drains that young security guard at the beginning,
Yes.
she gets close to the other guy, right? The guy that was like, how do you say it? Nauseous.
Oh yeah, that guy. I have to go. I'm feeling nauseous.
That was great. But she doesn't infect him, I guess.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She has that one line with him. What was it? Like something about
Yeah, because he's all into her and stuff, and
Yep.
and I forget what
she's
she
like
said.
take
to
my
him.
body or something.
Mhm.
But she doesn't infect him, and we never really see him
No.
again.
He just left.
Yeah, he's got a cursory part later on where they're still when they're just there talking, right?
That's it.
That whole time.
And then he's really gone again.
Yeah, because she did. I mean, he's nauseous because she sucked some of his juice out, right? Or he got some of his juice sucked out by the first guy.
But
Yeah.
if he infects anyone, again, it's off screen, and we don't even know
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah.
yeah.
And then wasn't that scene funny too with the Prime Minister? And he's like, Mrs. Havisham, Mrs. Havisham.
That was
and
good.
they
Yeah.
go back and
And then he sucks her Mrs. Havisham's juice out, and they're like,
then
"Oh
they're just
shit!
like,
Okay,
yep,
we're out of here."
Yep. And then that's when they got in the helicopter.
Yeah,
That's right.
that
Yeah,
was,
okay,
yeah.
I love how we
Okay,
just
we're
see the
out.
shadow of that happening, and
Yeah.
and our two
that was
guys who were following
Yeah.
don't even help. They're just
no
like,
way.
yeah, we're
That's a
gonna
lost cause.
bounce.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, you guys are real heroes.
Yeah.
That was exactly it.
Just like, I'm really rooting for you, Carlson. You're great.
But I mean, maybe that's speaking to something that we can all relate to. You know, if you saw some high-profile politician who was a space vampire
That's
victim,
true.
you'd be like, sucks to be you. I'm out here.
Yeah.
But they don't warn anyone else in the building, right?
No.
Like,
Well, remember, they're seeing that everybody's coming in sick and everything. So I think we're supposed to understand that once people are sick,
It's just chaos.
it's just they're going to turn into an infector.
Yeah.
Or
yeah,
But that could have
conduit or whatever they
could
turn
have been
into.
showed better.
that I could see that's a part where humor could have been
Yeah.
just a little bit more,
Yeah.
where they could have been like, oh, and he's like,
Just-
and
just-
they could be like, I'm not voting for you next year or something, something
right,
stupid
right,
like that, like
right.
Nope, and
Yeah.
just walk
No,
away.
yeah.
No, there's none of that.
Or you're just like, I knew the prime minister was like that.
Right.
I don't know.
Well, no, they could have looked at each other and been like, and I voted for that guy.
Yeah, right.
Oh,
right
man.
there. I mean,
Yeah.
there's a million.
Easily a little throwaway joke or
Yeah,
something. Right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Just give us something to hang on to here.
Yeah, but it wasn't Margaret. They couldn't work a Margaret Thatcher joke in there, right? So
Let me ask you this, guys. What has the director and the actors and the scriptwriter given us to these two main characters that we should like? Like,
Oh, that's a good question.
What actually is likable about them?
Right.
Well,
Okay.
personality, I don't know for sure, but I will say that running through the streets with a gun and sword for
Yeah.
Garfunkel,
Okay.
that was cool.
Okay. yeah.
Personality, that doesn't
Yeah.
make me like him anymore. It was just cool.
You gave him a cool thing to do.
Yeah.
But that was that was towards the end of the movie though too.
It was, yeah.
Yes. I liked that Carlson was in that tiny ass little space pod with a beard in that one shot, and that was totally a throwback to Dark Star.
Yes.
That really, that one, the main character in Dark Star's got the big giant beard,
Yeah.
and they're all kind of in space.
Yeah.
But I don't know that actually. I just like that moment. I didn't
Yeah.
really like
So
this character any better.
a scene I would have liked to have seen is so when Carlson's explaining what happened the first time in the ship, and we go back and we see, it just looks like his friends are just essentially getting drained.
Right.
Yeah.
That nothing's happened.
Right.
And then when he explains that he let her out,
Yeah.
I would have liked to have gone back and see what actually happened.
Yes.
Then.
Yeah, I know,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And maybe
Because you
show
don't
him,
believe him.
Yeah, and then maybe show
He's
him
not
like
trustworthy.
remorseful and like really like sad, because then I would have cared like, oh
Yeah.
man, this guy sucks to be him, but I feel for him.
Yeah.
You know?
Mm-hmm. And I think the actor had that potential. I mean, he was a good actor. Like he could act. I mean, when he's like all sweating and stuff, like you can feel like he's really feeling this,
Yeah.
But he just didn't give us that. That extra feel sorry for you,
Right.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if there was a scene that like made me like kind of like these guys, and
There's not a single scene. I like the mummy husk dummy guys way better than the two characters.
Oh yeah.
They
Agreed.
should just get like two of those husk guys to be the main characters. Can you imagine if it was just like those two like and their
would've
eyes are
been
blinking
great.
and stuff?
Steve and Kevin.
Yep.
I don't know.
Yep.
I'm a natural voyeur. Okay, remake. That's again.
Yes,
Put
yep.
that in the remake pile.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, but although we have been taking a lot of shots at this movie, at the end of the day,
It's because we loved it though.
is fun.
This is
It
one of
is,
those few ones where we're critical because there was so much we liked.
I mean, there's great camera work.
Yeah,
Just
right.
great. Like a lot of that stuff when they were just like underneath them and like circling around them and stuff. That's pretty modern for the 80s as well. You know?
And even at the beginning with them in their astronaut suits,
Yes.
this is before.
When it was more of a space movie in the beginning.
Yeah.
This is before we had the technology to remove those wires.
Right.
So like all those shots are like really creatively done.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Definitely.
Yep.
Yeah, there's a lot of like upside down work and stuff. And,
Yeah, that was when we were watching. The part that I really liked was that they didn't fall into that trope of artificial gravity in every stinking scene. which is one of my biggest gripes with space movies, is that, you know, obviously given interstellar travel and warp drive and all of that stuff is obviously totally fantastical too, but the fact that every time we're in a spaceship in either the Star Wars or the Star Trek universe, everybody's sitting there and they're drinking and they're eating and they've got gravity and all of that. When I really liked in this movie, it really shows you more like what we know of space, which is nothing is tangential
static.
Or anything. It's all just kind of floating around out there, and there is no up or down when you're in space, right? You're just kind of, everything is relative to whatever you're in, and that made it really interesting. Like when they went onto the vampire ship, is they're just kind of like upside down and sideways, and I'm just gonna kind of come over here and work my way around. Yeah, it'd be nice to see more of that. But that I guess that was 2001: A Space Odyssey. Which was they tried to do that, talk about that stuff, and the people were like, "That's boring. I want to see a ship with
naked space vampires." That's what they did.
That is what they said. That is
space vampires.
To be honest, I think if they just showed a lot of the scenes that we wanted to see that happened off screen,
that's most of a movie, right?
That's most of the movie.
Yeah, the movie would have been like 10 times as better. Like,
there's like a whole nother movie.
Yeah, right.
That we didn't see.
Yeah, you're right. Because as these two are tracking the investigation, the real movie is happening with Christopher Lee and the sword.
Yes.
Right.
Man. Interesting.
Yep.
Yeah, actually, that would be fun, wouldn't it? If they did, if you got some real fans to remake this movie, and they went back and made that movie, so that it goes alongside the original movie. Yeah, that would be such a fun sequel, wouldn't it?
It would. Right. So it's everything you aren't seeing on camera. Told. Whoa. That'd be great. That'd be fantastic. Be great.
Like, you know, so they blow up the male vampires like as soon as they rise. Yeah. Right.
Yep.
But then they blow them up with grenades.
Right.
Which we didn't really see that either, though.
We don't see. Yeah, we don't even
saw them
see
shooting. We saw them shooting at them.
Yeah, which was cool.
Yeah.
But we don't see the remains. They
just tell about it.
They just say to put the remains and watch them.
Yeah.
I would have liked to have seen the male vampires after the remains gather back up and come back.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep. For sure.
Kill some guards.
Yeah, because all we see is the reveal of that one guard walks in, and then it's him, right? Then we're
Christopher Lee and his sword.
That's the guy. Yeah. Right. Yeah, that'd be way better to see him do the freaking blood resurrection thing, right? Yeah.
Dang.
Yep.
Oh, well.
See, we should have been on the freaking council table on how to have made this movie. Dang it!
Just
canon.
Just keep her in soaked in blood a lot more. Yeah, would have been way more horrifying.
Yep.
I think the problem was that they're making this movie in England, right?
Yeah.
And they have this weird building that they start in. And every time that they need to do something, they got to walk through 17 doors.
Right.
So they're like, "Oh, we got to go change this scene." No, let's not do it because we don't want to walk all the way across that. So they did a lot of stuff where they just were like, just don't
even talk about.
Just don't even go. Let's just go to another scene because I don't want to go.
When the male vampires came back or came alive, they blew up at least like 2 or 3 doors. So
yeah,
we could have seen that too.
That's true.
Anyways.
And the chick blew up the plate glass window in the front of the place, right?
Yeah.
Just her hand.
That was
awesome.
Cool.
She used her Lifeforce or whatever it was. Yeah.
I wish
walking naked into the night.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not a huge fan of they don't need to explain everything in movies, but some things need
not
to be a little more clear.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because we usually harp on the exact opposite. Don't dumb, because usually when you're dumbing down a movie, you're telling too much.
Yes.
Right? You're holding the people's hand. Let me show you exactly and tell you exactly. Now I want to guess and I want to know and be there, but that's different. This is borderline.
This was all over the place.
Well, what's annoying is like you want to discover the story with the characters. And when you have a character that's like, "Oh, I suddenly know everything that everybody's thinking. That's my power now,
and I'm lying."
Right.
You're suddenly like, you know what, this guy isn't so much fun to hang out with. Let's go hang out with Art Garfunkel. No, he's not fun either.
He's a creep.
I would have at least liked if Garfunkel got the sword stab at the end. He was running around killing everything. At least give him like the final.
Right.
Because that was another thing. Carlson just leaves them to go make out with his vampire girlfriend.
I know.
And I was like, dude, if you had any redeeming qualities, it's gone now.
It's gone now. Yeah.
At least Garfunkel was killing zombies at the end.
Yep.
Yeah, they could have used a lot more gore, actually.
And what are we taking from the end? It's just he's merged with her, and then they're off, and they got their bodies.
I definitely don't think they died, because they definitely got like beamed
they
up
got
to the
beamed
ship.
up, and they were still stuck together.
Yeah. Strange.
It sounded like they got beamed up, and then essentially he would be back with her in 76 years or whatever,
Right.
To do all this again, or
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
or to live off those souls they got, because they got them all.
Or be ravaged by
I know,
predators.
because you can see them all in there as it says it's flying away.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
I want to do Predators versus Lifeforce, where the Predators intercept Halley's Comet to go battle those bat creatures.
Ooh, what about like
That would be awesome.
What would happen if like an alien face hugger got a life force vampire?
Ah,
Would we have like an alien vampire sexy thing? I don't know.
Yeah.
Life Force Xenomorphs.
Oh.
Yeah. There we go.
That's awesome.
That'd be a good title. Actually, that's a good name.
That's the next one after they remake Life Force.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep. Yeah.
Life Force Xenomorphs.
Yep.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we can see a naked female predator.
With.
I don't think anybody wants to see that. I don't want to see that. I don't want to see a naked female.
Never mind.
I don't want to see any.
Dr. K does.
You have a thing for mandibles, don't you? You like mandibles.
I love mandibles. Folding mandibles.
For all you people that love mandibles, let's hear your comments. You can go to a private chat room with Dr. K.
Well, no, because look, okay, when the male zombie got reanimated on the table, that noise he made was a predator call.
That's true.
It was like.
Yeah, I don't even know how to explain that.
Those were great noises.
They were awesome.
That's what really put it over the top, was
That
the great effects with those great noises.
Oh, man.
Beautiful.
Yep.
I love how the doctor just like saunters over to it.
Yeah.
It looks like he's gonna start making out with this prosthetic, this dummy.
Yep.
He just gets closer and closer.
Yep.
What's going on here?
Yep. Another doctor is like just falls over in sheer terror on the ground.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's the thing. The thing is, like, these doctors that are like in the corner, freaked out, like, just leave the room.
Yeah.
What are they doing?
I know.
Yeah.
And then when he gets revivified, though, then the other doctor just plunges a plunger into his arm.
Oh,
it's
he's not scary anymore.
Yeah, it's like that's how people solve problems in the 80s. Just tranquilize them.
Yep.
I don't know what it is. Just tranquilize it.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, Patrick Stewart's acting weird. Put 2 tranquilizers into either side of his neck.
Oh, and he got one in the arm before that.
Yeah,
So
he did. I know.
He was tranked 3 times in this movie within like 5-10 minutes.
Right. And after when they asked him to bring, when they asked the orderly to bring 3 more, and he's like, 3? Oh shit!
Yeah.
You mean Kramer?
Yeah, Kramer. Yes.
Oh, take responsibility.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
He was. I mean, really though, Patrick Stewart was great. Like his when he's screaming on the table and stuff too.
Yep.
Yep. It was.
And then when he starts talking in her voice,
that
effect was pretty cool.
I really did like that, and I liked the fact that they kept flipping to his and her face. For Carlson, I thought it was like, this is really cool.
Yeah. That was smart.
We
needed more of that stuff too.
I will say though, she has some creepy eyes. Like the scene, where
when they zoom in on him,
that, and like anytime she first opens her eyes, it's like, that's creepy. She does that so good.
It's
that looked like the Galadriel effect, where they had probably a bunch of lights.
Yeah,
like low power lights shining right on against the lens of her
look.
So it gives you all that kind of sparkly. It
was good.
I hope they paid her a lot. She's naked. She's naked, and they're shining lights into her eyes. And man,
for not having a lot of lines, she steals the scenes.
Yep. Yeah, you're waiting to see her. I mean, I know I was. Time and time again, waiting for her to come back.
Yeah, because when you're like, oh, she's jumping bodies now.
I know. I'm super bummed about that. Like, dang it.
Yeah. But her eyes too, like they had like this golden spiral in them. That was cool.
Yep.
Wow.
That part where at the end it's like something out of like a vampire, like a classic vampire movie, where she's in the church and she sits up.
Yeah.
It's that like ballet training. It was eerie, right? She just so graceful.
And just kind of poses. That was good.
Yeah, that was smart, having it being in the cathedral like that at the end.
And she even has like an old like
a gown,
like thin like silk white dress kind of thing.
That was cool.
Definitely like old vampire movie there.
Yep, harkening back.
Yeah,
to why we love them.
Well, you know what's cool is like this really is a way to do vampires, a new way to do vampires.
Yeah,
you know, Lifeforce has kind of shown the way. And just nobody's really picked it up to go.
It has a lot of good ideas.
Yeah. Because like everybody's trying to figure out how do we keep doing the vampire thing.
Well, and you know what's funny too is that we've joked about this ad nauseum, but for good reason. Is that you move forward 10 years from this movie, and every freaking thing is in space.
Yeah,
and it was laughable.
Yeah, that's true.
Everything in space, right?
Jason in space,
Jason in space, Leprechaun in space, freaking Hellraiser in space.
Yep. It's like the end. It's like the last thing you can do with a thing, right? It's like, well, put him in space.
Right.
Like, okay, we're done.
Whereas
now.
this was way ahead of that game.
Yeah.
And was awesome. But you couldn't have done it 10 years later. It just would have been like, it just would have been another one.
But you can do it now.
Space. But now, yes, right.
Because people are tired of Twilight now. Right. So now it's like, okay, here's a new vampire thing now.
Yes. Well, I'm telling you, if they remake this, just take some of the ideas that are in here, flesh them out, make them better.
Yeah.
Yep.
Get way better.
Show us
writers for your two main characters.
Right.
Yep. Show us the things that they're always talking about. Show us that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think if you had a character like David Tennant as one of the main characters in this, you would have cared about these two a lot more.
Yeah.
Yeah. David Tennant and Billy Bob Thornton.
Yes.
Yeah, he did look like
he did kind of look like
a young, shaven
Billy Bob Thornton. Or Peter Weller, you were saying.
Peter Weller, yeah. That'd be good too.
Yeah, and what I'd also like to mention the music though. We haven't talked about the music yet.
Oh, I know.
Henry Mancini.
From the opening scenes.
Yeah.
Pretty
it's
strong
quite epic
score
already.
Yeah. London Symphony Orchestra.
It's almost like it was a little bit bigger than the film needed.
Right. For sure.
But cool that it's awesome that it's there, right?
Yeah.
It was really one of the very shining lights.
It goes with the cinematography really well.
Yeah,
for sure. Especially in the space scenes.
Yes.
I thought it was really nicely epic. Like it lent like an otherworldly kind of whoa.
Right.
You know? So good job, Henry Mancini.
Yes.
Does anybody else know what Henry Mancini did besides Pink Panther? No,
I don't. That was when we were trying to think when you were when we were watching it, and that was the one that
listeners can tell us too.
Yes,
I'm sure they will. Or Mr. Corleone will Google it for us.
Yeah,
that's right.
Let's see. Some of the movies he worked on is Breakfast at Tiffany's.
Okay.
Pink Panther.
Yeah.
The old 1965 The Great Race.
Oh. Wow.
So he was around a long time before Lifeforce showed up.
Oh yeah. He's been doing stuff even like 50s. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So he must have just been like, no, I'm not doing this. And then Cannon Brothers were like, here's a bunch of money.
Right.
Like, oh, okay, fine, I'll do it.
All right.
The Great Mouse Detective. Do you guys remember that cartoon?
Yeah. That's a good one.
Goodness.
Disney.
Yep.
Mommy Dearest.
So Pink Panther then.
Yep.
Yeah.
I was always upset at that cartoon too,
because it had nothing to do with the Pink Panther.
Yeah,
I know.
That was lame.
Yep.
Yeah.
No, it was about an actual Pink Panther just like bungling about.
Yeah. Just trying to get to the kids.
Yeah.
Animals.
Yeah. That was it.
Oh well. Well, guys, anything else to say about Lifeforce? What's our clock at?
Comets is a Latin word for evil star. I love that.
Evil star. Okay.
That's also one of my takeaway lines from this movie. If they remake it, just throw that in there. Yeah. I'll catch the Easter egg.
Yes.
That's a big takeaway. Yes. See, we learned Latin today, guys.
Yep.
Someone out there is screaming when they hear this, like those idiots.
Yep. Yeah, this is back to the O'Bannon connection, right? With Darkstar. Apparently, he couldn't talk Carpenter into calling that evil comet, so it was Darkstar instead. But then he got his way with calling a comet an evil star in this movie.
Yep. True.
But to his credit, I mean, he wrote Alien, and Alien's fucking fantastic.
And he was going to be on Jodorowsky's Dune.
That's
too.
right. Spent what was that? 2 or 3 years working on it. Yeah.
So he didn't get to it, or
well, they never made it.
It didn't get made.
You got to see that documentary, man.
Jodorowsky's Dune. Yeah.
It's like this huge epic. It's one of the best movies that should have been, but was never made. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, he worked on it for 2 or 3 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dan O'Bannon.
Yeah, Dan O'Bannon, H.R. Geiger, Jodorowsky, obviously.
Salvador Dali.
Orson
Welles.
Orson Welles. Everybody.
They were gonna have a different rock group do the music for each planet that they went to.
That's kind of cool. That's a cool idea.
One planet would be Pink Floyd. One planet would be Led Zeppelin. Like, because that was the time they were making it in. You know, in the 70s.
Oh, that's genius. I like that. They should do that now with stuff.
Yeah. I know.
Incorporate that.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Star Wars should do
it. It was so good that Hollywood's mind was blown to bits and could not do it.
Yeah.
Couldn't pull the trigger on it. Yeah. It was too epic and bizarre.
Hollywood's getting there with its ideas. It's finally understanding that you can make these weird movies and there's an audience for it.
Yeah, the Marvel Cinematic Universe, I think, has come a long way.
That's absolutely
showing people what people want to watch.
I don't know if you guys remember when Guardians of the Galaxy was like being announced. I remember people were like, "Wait, there's a talking raccoon in there? That sounds dumb." And I'm like, "Well, it's awesome. Just wait."
Just wait. Yeah,
and it was.
Yeah.
Yep. So there you have it, guys. What do you think?
Yeah.
Anything else to say here?
Man, we didn't hardly get very tangential this time. We stayed very topical. I'm
proud of us.
Pat us on the back.
I mean, we did just watch it.
Yeah, that's true.
Maybe that's why. And there's a lot to talk about.
That's true.
Yeah. There is.
Yeah.
It really is.
But Stone Cold wasn't able to work its way into this conversation.
Nor the Highlander.
Or the Highlander. Yeah.
Oh. I mean, if you can think of a way to connect them, there's.
Well, we did.
It's like a Kevin Bacon game.
Now that you mention it, Mr. Corleone, we did. We were watching the end scene of Lifeforce when all the Lifeforce was swirling around. Yeah. We did think that looked like the quickening.
That's right.
From Highlander.
You did actually say that. I didn't catch that. But now that you say that,
and Dr. K was also going, "I know everything. I am everything."
Yeah, I need to watch Highlander again because I remember you yelling that. And I'm like, what is he talking about?
Yeah. That was it.
Okay.
That was it.
I want to see Highlander again too.
That was it.
Let's go watch Highlander now.
Let's go watch it right now. We're gonna go downstairs and watch it.
Let's watch all the Highlander movies.
It probably needs more space vampires.
We'll all be sitting there with our eyeballs bugging out, just watching it.
My wife is calling me out like, "No, I have to watch Highlander: The Source." We're only on Highlander Endgame right now. Oh, I don't ever want to have that
no, never.
Conversation.
Don't ever say those words. She will ask you, "What do baffled mean?" What do incompetent mean?
Easily the best part of Highlander.
It is the
right
best.
There. That
it's
scene.
So stupid, but
the
so
hot dog
awesome.
stand guy.
Oh, the hot dog guy is the best part of Highlander.
Yeah, really.
It is. I mean, not to knock Highlander.
No,
the movie's fantastic.
Yeah,
but
Kurgan is good and everything too, but that hot dog guy.
So you're saying he needs his own spin-off movie?
Oh yeah,
yes, he does.
Sure.
He does.
Sure. If they would have followed his story, the sequels would have been much better.
Damn, you're right.
They would have.
Dang,
they would have. Each time you get some new detectives, you have to go get a hot dog.
Besides remaking Lifeforce, hot dog movie guy from Highlander.
That guy could be in anything, really. That would be awesome.
He could.
Just insert him into any movie. Immediately make it better.
Yeah.
Guys, we're running over budget. This whole movie doesn't make sense. We need hot dog guy.
Don't worry, just add the hot dog guy. It all makes sense.
See, we could have just had those detectives, those government people walk through a bunch of doors to get outside
and then there's
for smoke to go get a hot dog.
Then what you're doing is you're essentially creating a Highlander universe where everything's connected.
That's right.
By Hot Dog Man.
Well, you know, the Highlanders, they couldn't shed blood in the holy ground, you know?
Right.
So just like Lifeforce ends in a church. Dude.
Right.
I can see some connections.
And hot dogs.
And hot dogs. Yep.
Well, we're out of steam. Thanks everybody for hanging out with us tonight on your this episode of the Neighborhood Watch. Hopefully you enjoyed Lifeforce with us, as we have enjoyed it tonight. Three of us.
We have.
On behalf of my co-hosts, Mr. Vankman.
Adios, everybody.
And our one and only recurring and most awesome guest to have you again, Don Vito Corleone.
Thank you, guys. And just to quote the movie here, it'll be more terrifying if you come see me now, or less terrifying, sorry. It's getting late. I already butchered it. Oh, no.
You didn't use the huge reverb voice.
Oh, that's Mr. Vankman here.
Oh, yeah.
Give it to us.
You're making me nauseous.
That's how you end it.